ABC Grandstand. It's finals time in the Queensland Cup. Today, live from Cougarai Oval, the Northern Pride from Cairns meet Rockhampton's Central Comets in the preliminary final. This is what it's all about. The winner here goes into the grand final for 2009 of the Queensland Cup. The losers' season is over, so you've just got to win. No other option, and that means we're in for a fantastic battle between these two teams.
Shy Bird at fullback, good player. The wings are Josh Vaughan and Jermaine Polson. The centres, the whole three-quarter line is impressive. Jensen and Frizzo. That halves pairing, Tommy Humble, as we mentioned, and the experienced Chris Shepherd. The back row in the scrum of Reek Muller, Sliney and Cantoni are strong. Up front they are as well in Leahy, Starmer and, of course, Jason Roos. It's a good side.
The Comets lineup at fullback, Tom Hewitt. In the three quarters, Matt Singh and Dallas Williams on the wings. The centres are Carl Johnson and Tyrone Haynes. 5'8" is Nat Bowman, the captain. Mark Fickling is the halfback. Mick Esdale, the lock forward. Alan Rothery and Guy Williams, second rowers. George Tuakura and Aaron Summers, the front rowers. Ian Webster is the hooker. And Jade Williams will be playing in number 18 on the bench.
Referee today is Michael Wise. Big responsibility. His 104th Queensland Cup game. So it's the
time to run.
Central Comets running right to left. The Northern Pride with a
short
kick off.
Jerry.
Yes, and it's grabbed by Ian Webster and turning around. Carted forward there, let's see, about 25 short of the halfway.
That's a very interesting tactic. Normally you'd put it right down on the goal line and force them to bring it out. They tried a trick kick, didn't come off.
Mark up square.
So up to the 10-metre line, they get to within 5 metres or so of the halfway as the tackle count is going down 3, and they've made it. That's another question then, David, as to why they've gone for that short kick when they find themselves back in their own territory so quickly.
Exactly, it's put pressure back on the Pride and will allow the Comets to get an upper hand early.
Here comes the kick from Bowman, putting it fairly deep. Bird with some ground to cover, but losing his footing there inside his 10. And so will play the ball just outside his own 10-metre line. Down on the sideline, Warren Boland. A beautiful day for being on the sideline and watching the footy.
Yes, it is, Jerry, and it's surprisingly on the edges. It's very heavy. There's been a bit of rain overnight here. The field itself is pretty good. It's quite lush though, a little bit slow, if anything. The players running from that southern end of the ground, in this case the Northern Pride, are looking right into the sun, or it's the eastern end of the ground. And at the moment, there's not really much breeze to speak of.
So Northern Pride, as it goes through the hands of Chris Shepherd, running it out wide to within 10 metres of the halfway line. Fifth tackle. This kick will be interesting. Just straight down this touchline. Comfortably picked up by Tom Hewitt. And Hewitt deciding to run across field, but the chasers were always there.
Well, the arm wrestle, both sides have started tidily, which coaches obviously desperately want early. You don't want to give an opportunity to your opponents early. There's the evergreen Matt Singh, who made a comeback this year after an illustrious career, 271 NRL games. He's come back to help the Central Comets. Of course, who had the benefit of the services of Dave Taylor regularly early in the season. The big fellow in Aaron Summers had a good year as Summers, the number 10. Not a lot between these two sides. This guy is a workaholic, Mick Esdale. He will tackle everything that moves, and that was a good little dart to pick up 10 metres on offer. Webster works it out on the right-hand side. Up there to Fickling. 6 to go, and they kicked again. They didn't need to do it. They've knocked it on. Mustn't have heard the call on 6 to go. Was it Carl Johnson, I think, regained and didn't realise the 6 to go call, so he's put another kick in. That was play on.
Double rebound, double jeopardy.
Querying why that was a knock on. Could only have been a flick off a hand if it was. It looked like it was a clean regain. So the Northern Pride get a bit of a break there, I think. Albeit Carl Johnson would be kicking himself for not hearing that first call. He just had to play it safe. Big Josh Vaughan brings it forward. Played for Tweed Heads a while ago now. I think he would have played in their grand final, so he's very accustomed to the finals feeling. Pride have not had any attack ball really. Reith Muller finally get it into opponent's territory after that inexplicable short kick-off. It wasn't a miss kick. Humble, quick pass, but it was too quick. Picked up quickly there by Esdale, and he tries to get, no, it's actually Webster, and he gets it up almost to the halfway line.
And his penalty helps. So the Comets will have the first chance to really apply some pressure here. They'll start a set of 6 well in the Pride territory.
Yes, well, the handling error compounded by the penalty by Alex Stammer, holding on too long.
Oh, didn't find touch.
Dear, oh dear, the kick coming from Webster, and Pride let off the hook there.
Yeah, grand final nerves. That's just basic stuff to find. You don't have to go for long territory there. Territory's irrelevant to you. Bad mistake.
Reith Muller stopped about 12 short of the halfway. Bruce keeping it going on the left-hand side. Lovely cut-out pass from Shepherd out deep. And Jensen, I think, might get about 10 metres into the Comets territory. And he did touch. Well, mistakes coming from both teams here.
The big fellow, Carl Johnson, just does a Gordon Tallis. Grabs him by the collar, spins him around a couple of times. And Jensen tossed into touch. That'll hurt his pride a bit.
For and against for these two teams. Northern plus 147. The Comets just plus 16.
Bind together, let's go.
Plenty of points have been scored by Northern Pride. 608 points in the season.
Break it up. 9. Pride, get your arm around you, mate.
Errors here from both sides. There's a little bit of nerves to be playing their part.
Yeah, particularly from the Northern Pride in these first 5 minutes.
It's better. Tighter, Pride
Now,
13.
the Comets
Pride
will
13,
get another chance to build some attack.
Point. Stay there. Out.
Quickly out. Up there to Fickling. Fires it off straight away.
One man move.
Tyron Haynes played a fair bit in the back row as well. Webster runs out of dummy half. He's a Welshman, as I recall. Played for the Celtic Crusaders, as did Summers, this time Rothery.
Surrender.
25 games for the Canberra Raiders in his career. Second man play up there to Akura. Stays on his feet, but finally they topple him over. Slow play the ball. Entangled they were. Well, they made out they were. Bowman turns it back on the inside. There's Summers, keeps it alive as well. Back to Bowman. A little bit of room to move if they can get it on the outside. Fickling throws the dummy. As well he did. Because Jensen was there like a defender in basketball, trying to block any overhead pass. Good pass up there to big Carl Johnson. They'll try and punch him through a few holes. Flicks it out the back up there to Fickling. Fickling crossfield kick. Good one as well, but well placed in defence was Jermaine Paulson. He covered it nicely. Humble. Look at this kid. Dart around. He's off to Parramatta next year. He's one that got away from the North Queensland Cowboys. They admitted this week, and he was one that just got under our radar. You can't keep them all, but the kid's got some ability, Jerry.
Exactly, and it just shows how great a grounding it is playing in the Queensland Cup, and it can provide those chances, those opportunities, and word gets around. It gets around pretty quickly. So the Pride have made it into the Comets territory.
Rest assured, all the NRL clubs watch the Queensland Cup. Their scouts are ever watching what's happening here every week.
Big bomb there by Shepherd, juggled by Hewitt, but he held on to it. He did very well in the end because that was real pressure on him. Tremendous tackle by Bird to get up on his opposite number.
He was gone. He was in big trouble here. The ball had bounced up in the air, and he was lucky he got a second grab on it before he got hit the second time. Well to recover.
So plenty of just sorting each other out here, but once again, eyes off the ball for Aaron Summers, and he's left it behind. So those little errors, there are too many of them for both teams. Yep. This is the sort of game where you've got to turn up and play mistake-free footy.
2 outside props, bend your backs.
Yeah, you can't afford the basic errors, the ones that are under pressure are bad enough, but unforced errors.
When they met in round 10, the Comets were successful by just 2 over Northern, and then Northern turned the tables in round 21.
Point to point, go.
Head to head, it's 2 each. So it's pretty even, these two teams. Here go the Pride on the attack in the opposition's territory. Jensen, good strong run, upended though. He's only about 25 metres out, so they've got a platform here. What can they do with it? This is Sliney. Up to the 20 and across it. Still going. Good, strong run. Well, they're close. That's the try line you can see. Here they go. Can the Pride score the first points? As it's sent quickly by Shepherd. Out wide. Bird joins in. Lovely pass out to the winger. Paulson for the corner. That might get there. Where did they come from? Because he was out by himself, wasn't he, Paulson? Now they try to go straight up the middle. Rod Griffin, or rather Mark Cantoni.
And he's lost it. Fantastic.
So back it comes.
Yeah, fantastic defence by the Comets. This one forced the error as Cantoni had the ball knocked from his grasp, but the cover defence earlier on Jermaine Paulson by Haynes and Williams. There's the errors, 3 apiece. Neither would be happy with that after 9.
But David, you might have had a better vantage point than me, but Paulson, I thought, could have gone for the corner and would have got there.
Yeah,
he came back in. He seemed to try and in and away, but he never got the away part happening.
Yep, no, I think you're right, Warren. The loping pass might have caused him just to wait for it to come to him, and therefore he may have propped him catching, but you're right, there seemed to be the chances on the outside.
It was lovely work by the Pride to shoot it wide through Humble and Shy Bird. They gave the winger half a chance.
Yeah, they looked the most threatening. That Nick Sliney run over the far side earlier looked ominous with some loose defence on the right. This is working the player on the ground. Guy Williams, who's played 5 games for the Broncos this year, is the one who's worked over. See where they try and push him and turn him around to buy a few extra precious seconds. You might say why do it, but those extra 1 or 2 seconds can make an enormous difference between whether your defence is going back or sprinting up. This time, Summers is the workaholic of the team. Short ball there to Esdale. He won't stop all day. He was stopped then. Pass out the back there to Fickley, to Bowman. Bowman up there to Rothery. Big man standing, but again, eventually numbers will get you. Get 3 trying to topple you over. Turakura down the blind side, had a hand free but couldn't offload. Webster to work the dummy half. Up there again to Rothery. Summers keeps it alive. Back here to Bowman. Sheds one. Tries to get on the outside. Does so. Out to Esdale. Defence up quickly. Stripped off there by Jensen. I thought he dragged it forward. Rod Jensen away. Just brought down. Couldn't come out the other side and hold his feet. Carl Johnson has tossed him around like a teddy bear a few times, and Jensen doesn't like it. The big man Carl Johnson on Jensen, and he's certainly giving him a workout physically. Anyway, there's Rod Jensen. He didn't like it. And that'll be a penalty.
Yeah, you got your leg in.
He just
you got your leg in the play the ball, mate, so you couldn't get up.
In that play the ball, that's Rod Jensen. What's going on? He said, I've played over 100 NRL games and I've been... There's the penalty, interference in the play the ball.
It was against Summers for, as the referee said, putting his leg in the play the ball area, but it didn't look to be much in. I thought that could have been play on, just let him play it. He wasn't actually touched.
Well, now Northern Pride have a great chance as they spread it out to Humble.
Lost it.
And on the ground again. There, mistakes happening at key times for Northern Pride. They've been up there, they've been knocked on the door. They just can't finish it off. Stewart taking it forward now. So slowly they'll try and work it forward. Dallas Williams across his own 20. Andrew Duneman watching on, the Northern Pride coach. Will be pretty disappointed with the mistakes that have been there in the first 12 minutes. Oh, and all of a sudden the Comets, total misunderstanding there. Rothery eventually picking it up and charging forward.
Comets are definitely trying to keep the ball alive a lot. They're really pushing passes, the Comets. If it comes off, you're a champion. If it doesn't, you're a chump.
On the left-hand side, let's see what they've got. Bowman tries the kick that looks a bit big. It's out on the full.
Or is it? Yes, must have just hit the line. Took a while for the touchy to give his signal. So it is a game of millimetres. Let's have a look. Yeah, well, it's actually well out as it turned out. Touchy was very deliberate in his action, and it's going to be a fear to the Comets.
I don't care.
What's happened?
Yes. Take it through
Was
your
it
captain
touched
if you've
in
got something to
flight?
say.
I wouldn't have thought
That's
so.
twice.
But if it was, it should have been where it crossed the line, not where it was kicked from. So he's awarded touched in flight, but...
Well, that's what Webster was indicating, and Webster was trying to convince him.
Comment seconds.
He's a Welshman.
Break it up, get packed properly, or won't let
Knows his rules, so it must have been just
Yep,
flicked in flight.
Doesn't matter. You've got to get it right.
Jumping action, so as soon as it comes off a defending player, Frizzo, effectively they've put it out. And even though it's gone out on the full by them, it's where it crosses the line. So it's like technicality.
It was played at an attempted charge down.
Yeah. So now big Carl Johnson gets to his feet. He looks like he's ready to play, Johnson. Try and keep it alive there through Guy Williams. When the big men become aggressive, they can be very, very hard to handle. Strong effort there by the Comets to bring it forward. This time Bowman, dummies on the inside, pops out on the outside there to Rothery. Rothery keeps it alive. They are trying to pop the ball, but it's not paying off for them. It's costing them at the moment as the Pride come to pick it up through Frizzo. Try and get it out of their own territory. Rickmuller straight through up the middle. The defence is a bit, and he's knocked it on as well. Picked up here by Tom Hewitt. Does well to come back on the inside. Thinks about offloading. These guys get offloaded every chance. Up there to Anlazak. Well, they're going to play the balls to a minimum, the Comets. Up there to Summers. This is obviously a tactic. You don't decide this at the last minute. But that there wasn't coming from an attempted offload. It was a loss. Here's the run by Joel Riethmuller. They have been a bit loose in the middle.
Frizzo lines up alongside him, but I suppose not a good pass. It's gone behind Frizzo, but still, the hard work was done by Riethmuller. And look at those errors now. Comets 6, Northern 5. And that's only after 14 minutes.
You normally wouldn't want that at half-time.
Yep, there you go.
One side will bring some composure back. Sure, I think they both will, actually. They both just had a bit of nerves and tried to push a few passes. Shy Bird. Jensen to work the dummy half this time. Big Josh Vaughan.
13 all the way back. Go.
Pretty good play the ball. They work down a blind side to Jensen.
Dominant.
Off the ground. And a dominant tackle. The middle. Josh Vaughan again. He's pretty keen to get in and do some work. Good to see. Oh, a bit of a punch up as well. Josh Vaughan lurched forward after he played that ball.
Lucky he didn't throw a punch in possession.
He sort of swung an arm. He didn't. It was sort of. He pulled it back at the last moment. Shepherd crossfield kick. This is interesting. In space as well. Wants to bounce. The bounce. Oh, Shy Bird comes off the post. Play on. Play on. Well,
how unlucky was Bird there?
Dear, oh dear. That's unbelievable.
What a nightmare for Matt Singh, because the upright was between him and the ball, and he wasn't sure whether to go for it on the full, where it was going to go.
Oh, how lucky is that? This is the perfect kick here by Shepherd. Debatable whether Bird was onside, but the bounce off the post just grabbed there by Tommy Hewitt.
So it's a let-off for the Comets, that's for sure.
They can't afford any more errors in this end of the park, Jerry. They've got to work it out of here on this set of 6.
Yeah, and you would think that they've got Pride to take more care with holding onto the ball in their own territory. Kick downfield. Here's Vaughan again. Running across field. He was fired up a moment ago. No way through for Humble.
Giant of a man, Josh Vaughan. He can do some damage in the middle of the ruck.
Well, they decided to go on the short side. There's not a lot of room there, but Frizzo attacking the line, caught 42 metres out. Bruce offloads, carted forward by Cantoni. Bruce. Now, Tom Humble finally getting the pass away. Shepherd keeps it going over the top. Coming back inside now, Jensen. And they just can't find a way through, but Humble's almost through. 15 metres out now. Here they go, Northern Pride on the attack. Shepherd taking it to the line. Who's his man? Out wide, stepping back inside. Frizzo for the line. Shut down though by Haynes.
Saved the day again on this left defence.
And here we go, 5th tackle. Another cross-field bomb by Shepherd, but that one's just gone that little bit too far.
Oh, he tried to rake it back into the field of play, but Shepherd under pressure, and you've got to apply pressure in these games to the good players. If you give them time, they'll put it on a sixpence. He had pressure on him. It was attempted. He'd been in touch by then as he tried to drag it back. So you can jump from the field of play or in goal and be in mid-air, but you can't jump off the ground if you've already been out of play.
Whether it be with the ball or through the bomb, the Northern Pride are looking more dangerous. Comets are going to have to lift. PJ Marsh is at dummy half.
Yeah, he'll lift them as well. He'll give some dash out of there. Summers has to be getting a little bit tight. Does well again to offload up there to Anlazak. Almost to the halfway line. These guys are into pride. There's PJ Marsh, and guess who was ready for that? Nick Sliney, realising that Marsh likes to dash out a dummy half.
I think Marsh was playing for the penalty. I think he thought the marker had gone out.
He was amazed that he didn't get a penalty out of it. Shy Bird traps it nicely with the foot, brings it forward. He's looked sharp until he ran into a great shoulder there by Guy Williams. Now the Pride to work it out of their own territory. Both sides have been prone to error, and you don't want to make them inside your own territory. It's worse than ever. Jensen, again, has been hit by some defence today, Rod Jensen. Chatting to the ref about the attention he copped then.
Well, you can bet that Rod Jensen's one person they would have said we can't allow him any room.
Oh, yeah. He's a devastating player. Jensen, little chip over the top this time by Shepherd. Good one as well. It took a bit of pressure, but nice work there by Rothery to race back. There were plenty of players trying to get that ball. Shepherd's down. Shepherd's down, the man who put the kick in, and his traders have put up both arms. So he's in trouble, Shepherd. We could go back to a penalty here, possibly, as Matty Singh works his way there. Has the ref spotted it? Yes, he has. He's in trouble, Shepherd. And as I said, he is the man that must play for the Pride. He put a kick up under pressure. Here it is, here's Shepherd. Oh, glancing arm there. Chris Shepherd back to his feet. We're not going to, or are we going to go back to it?
No, it's just going to be Matt Singh will play the ball.
Well, that surprises me. I guess it might. Is it only one play afterwards?
I wasn't convinced that there was, I think you said an elbow, David.
Yeah.
I thought he might have got him with the back of his shoulder, the man. It could have been judged to be late.
But shoulder even is illegal.
But was he not turning his back trying to get out of the way?
Well, he certainly was. I mean, that's what I'm saying. But you know, it's 50-50 whether it was intentional. It probably was, you know, intended to hit Shepherd and just make him know that he was around.
No, I didn't say it was intentional, but he clipped him.
The video ref, Tony McSurdle, no doubt noted for half-time to tell the referee.
Here come the Comets now. They've made it into the Pride territory. Kept going. Here's an interesting change of direction by Carl Johnson. So they're 30 out. This is the fifth tackle. PJ Marsh, of course, the dummy half. The kick coming from Bowman. He's put it nice and high.
Taken on the full.
Yeah, in the in-goal area by Bird.
So not a good kick. It's about keeping the pressure on, not letting teams waltz back out to their 20, albeit you can reset your defence. So incredible. 0-all after 20 minutes. And the only side that's really had a good look at the try line has been the Pride. They again work it out of their own territory. Hasn't been a lot of attack ball. I doubt the Comets have had any possession, attack possession in the 20. If so, it would only be fleeting. Working down a blind side.
There you go, tackles in the opposition 20, yep. Northern 4, the Comets only 1.
Again, that's super low for 20 minutes in for both sides even. Chris Reeson driven backwards. He's the good young kid. Played in the 20s last year. There's a Shepherd. Dummies the kick, puts it out there to Jensen. Jensen just dribbles it through. Will be dangerous. Tommy Hewitt. Awkward ball. Will be picked up. Let's play on. Play on. They'll bring it around to improve the position. Nick Sliney. The ref will just check it. But this was a horror bounce for Tom Hewitt after Jensen put the grubber kick through. Started with Shepherd dummying a kick, fired it to Jensen. Jensen dribbled it through the line and it jagged up at Hewitt. And I'd say this is a try, unless the Pride have got involved in the fumble that Hewitt was involved in. There's the dribble through by Jensen. There it just bounces awkwardly. No knock on there for mine. Knocked back intentionally. Beautiful one-handed pick up there by Nick Sliney and the Pride. Here it is again from close on. Now has it
in the in-goal,
didn't
Central.
Touch Jensen for
Everyone
mine.
in the in-goal.
And it's gone right over the top of Josh Vaughan.
Yeah, and then this.
And it's flicked back by a Comets player, actually. And Sliney, it should be a try.
Yeah, I'd say it will be. Well, it would take a kick to get a try out of this game. We've had a fumbling start, and this try pretty well sums it up.
I think Matt Singh might have been worried he was offside and hesitated for a moment, and that was hesitation that cost them.
And that wickedly bouncing ball. That was a terrific run, first of all, by Rod Jensen. Tries awarded. So Northern Pride take the lead, 4 points to 0.
Yeah, good effort here. Jensen just gets to the defence and puts pressure on. As we say, Hewitt was in trouble. And a lucky try, you could say, from the Pride.
Here it is again. And this run by Jensen there, sees that there's a gap there, puts the ball on the toe, following it through. And from that moment, he was in the key position because it was horrible for Hewitt. He couldn't control it. And then Nick Sliney was the man who followed through. That's the other thing, follow through a kick, and it doesn't matter if you're third, fourth, fifth player there, it's worth it in the end because you might get your opportunity as Sliney did there. Tom Humble with the conversion, up go the flags, it's 6-0 to the Northern Pride.
Yeah, it was a good chase from Jensen as much as anything. I just thought that Matt Singh could have dived on this ball when it was laying on the ground. He did late. He tried to shovel it half-heartedly away, but I just think he thought he was offside, hesitated, moved too late, and it was shoveled on to Sliney. And there was nobody else really chasing from the Comets, nobody else coming across as well. You'd think the urgency of the situation would have been there for them to race across in numbers, but nobody there. Sliney was the only one.
Well, the Pride have been the team challenging the most, and now they finally have some points. Up to the Comets now. The Comets, of course, will be running into that sun that Warren mentioned in the second half of this match as well. And as the afternoon wears on, it can be a major factor.
So, he lost that. He did.
There you go.
High scorer.
Yes, Sliney was the man who's put it down.
Fumbles continue.
And the Comets are given a chance now. 35 out, they'll get the scrum feed.
Yeah, and this will be one of the few opportunities they've had to genuinely go on attack. The Comets, if they're good enough, if they can hang on to the ball.
It's a scrum right. Seconds locks in tight.
Good chance for them. They're set nice and deep on this left-hand side, as you'd expect, and the defence stands flat. So let's see what they can create here. Can they put any confusion in at all? Pass on the outside there to Jade Williams. Tries to get away from the defence. Hewitt drops into dummy half. Very slow play the ball. I don't know why you'd want to get in there and contest with a marker. Picked up there by Tom Hewitt. Run out of dummy half. This time the run by Dallas Williams. Almost to the 10, so here's their chance to really do some attack close to the line. PJ Marsh puts a long one out there to Bowman. To Fickling, throws it, 2 dummies, puts it off his knee. Knocked backwards. Picked up there by Carl Johnson. Johnson looking back saying, I was expecting a clean pass, not a dribble off the knee. This time, Tyron Haynes. Now he might be playing in the pack. Oh, this is just confusion. Reigns here. Was it played at? No. Well, that's shocking by the Comets. Everyone's looking around in amazement to say, well, what is going on?
It's first. Yeah, it's accidental offside. It's fifth tackle, still a scrum. If it's hit him, that's back.
An accidental offside.
Gone at 16, hit him accidentally.
If it rebounds into a player accidentally who's in front, that's accidental offside. If it rebounds and you dive on it, then you are offside. So now the Pride. They'll just be amazed themselves. They got off the hook that easily. There was really nothing asked of them.
It's a Comets feed, David.
Oh, well, okay.
Pride back 3, you're not in. You're not in.
Okay, they were accidentally offside. Well, let's see if the Comets can do better on this set of 6. That's if they can win the scrum.
Don't strike before it gets in there, mate.
Yeah, the coach will love to get in their ear and just chew it off and see if they can just change the whole mindset they've got.
Break it up. Get your scrum pack before you bend back.
The most feeling we've had so far is in this scrum.
I don't care. It's not me in the scrum. Seconds in. Seconds in. Lock in. Come together slow.
Okay.
Get in, 12. There we go.
Been put to the ref about whether the opposing hooker can strike. Pass up this time to Bowman. Bowman pass on the outside there to Jade Williams. Tries to shrug away from a couple of defenders but can't. PJ Marsh to dummy half. What can he create? Working down a blind side to Rothery. Can't get through. There's no real questions being asked here by the Comets. He disappointed me. PJ Marsh dummy. This might be better. Up to Bowman. Bowman throws the dummy, goes on the outside, fires on the outside a bit. Carl Johnson. Johnson will be hard to stop. He goes himself. Instead, he had Matty Singh open on his outside. Decided to do it himself and
walked into 4 defenders.
Yeah,
and
a
butchered
metre
it
from the line. Up there to Fickling, little grubber kick through. Pressure at least here. And Tommy Humble knocks it dead. Well, at last, they've got a restart of the tackle count if nothing else.
Yep. Oh, Carl Johnson butchered a try on the right-hand side. Singh outside him unmarked, didn't give it to him.
Let's go, boys.
There's the grubber kick through. Humble back to save the day.
It was a lovely ball from Nat Bowman that given them a bit of space to work out wide on the right, the Comets. They didn't use it, but they will get another chance.
And this is their chance, the goal line dropout. So Chris Shepherd with the kick, right down the full 50 metres it's gone. Here's to Akura. He's picked up 15 already. But look at the defence, he's lost the ball. And it's ruled a knock on.
I was about to say this is a very important set of 6 for the Comets to really build their confidence and try and put some pressure on the Pride, and instead they surrender on the first tackle. Disappointing performance by the Comets thus far.
Northern Pride trainer being ordered from the field.
Trying to get off.
But the Comets trainer is still out there.
Now.
Referee getting a bit frustrated.
Because you can't be on there if the side's
Yeah,
in attack or about to be in attack.
But both teams have been very nervous, haven't they, David? There's a lot of drop ball. Neither has looked fluent. Occasionally the Pride have shown a bit more flash in attack.
Point to point.
Neither would be happy with their control at all.
If you want, I think I might have that back to front. You can be on there if they're in attack. You can't be on there as a defence, as a trainer. But you're right. There's been a lot of direction in this Comets attack. But there's a long way to go in this. There's 50 minutes of play to go. They could turn it around.
Well, they've got to start with a good set of 6 here in defence. But the Pride have made it to the halfway. They're leading by 6 points to 0. Nice little dart from dummy half by Roos. Chris Reeson in to be a dummy half now. Quick hands through Humble, out through Shepherd, further afield. Oh, they're getting in each other's way now. Nick Sliney bumping into one of his own players.
At least he took the tackle. If he played on, he might have been penalised.
Humble now with the kick, putting it nice and high. Interesting chase for this ball that's been knocked forward by Paulson. And just fumbled there by Tom Hewitt, but he managed to hold on to it.
He was relying on the fact that it had been previously knocked on, so he was living on the edge for a while.
Matty Singh gets in to be a dummy half. Can he gain some quick ground for them? At least 10 anyway. The Comets. This is Dallas Williams now, to within 12 of the halfway mark.
It's got to be a penalty.
Well, PJ Marsh was looking at the referee and now darts by himself, but he's well covered by Sliney, who's doing plenty of work out there. Nick Sliney, including scoring the only try of the game. Parle across the halfway. That's the 5th. Look for Bowman. The kick instead coming from Marsh. And it's rolling across the dead ball line. So an ineffective kick once more. The Pride have it on the 20.
Yeah, disappointing end result there. 6-0 down the Comets. They'll be pretty happy that they're only 6-0 down, because the Pride haven't played much better. They have been the better side. Oh, there's some crunching defence. That was dominant, all right. Strong defence by Jade Williams. They work down this right-hand side, finding a bit of extra space as well, the Pride. They look the most threatening. Run out of dummy half there by Reese, trying to milk a penalty. Can't get it because Jade Williams wouldn't buy into it. Tackle there by Parle. Picking up the park a lot more easily than what the Comets do. Get it up to the 40-metre line. Work down a blind side. Well, not a good pass. And picked up there by the Comets. They did well to get the loose ball. Bit of desperation showed there by Jade Williams.
Mark Cantoni just didn't believe that ball was going towards him. He didn't even attempt to take it.
I reckon we should have half-time now. Let the coaches have a talk to them and see if we can have a 50-minute back end of this game. Because it's been a disappointing first half from both sides' point of view. But they could click into gear. Let's hope they do.
Well, we've got 9 minutes to go to half-time. The Comets are only 30 metres out. Can they come up with a try and even level the score? But you just get the feeling that they're going through the motions somewhat and throwing the ball willy-nilly. Dear, oh dear.
Now Matt Singh has a...
Yeah, it's a bit aggro.
Yeah, with Josh Vaughan.
Yeah, I think you said the word there earlier, Warren, frustration. You were saying the referee was getting frustrated, the players are getting frustrated, everybody's getting frustrated out there.
Yeah, there's a bit of lip out there between players, and they're appealing to touch judges to take action.
Well, the players should take some action, I think. That's terrible. 8 from 15 and 12 from 20. If one side had been on song here, it would have been 30 points.
Over that foot.
Well, of course, South Logan and the Sunshine Coast are about to do battle in the other preliminary final starting at 3 o'clock. And they'd be looking at this match, or they probably aren't. They're probably in the dressing room. But if they were, they'd be thinking, we can beat either of these two on what we've seen so far.
Warren, that's the disappointing thing. We've seen some great football from these two sides this year, isn't it? They just haven't hit their straps at all today. And, I mean, nerves should be long gone.
Well, they seem to be intimidated by each other. They're just not making the headway, first of all, through the middle of the ruck to get the attack moving.
Let's see if they can click into gear now. On the blind side, Reeson. Andrew Doonerman shouting in straight. He's not happy either. The coach is not happy. He's chewing their ear from a distance at the moment. It won't be long before he's about 5 millimetres away and screaming. Out there to Tommy Humble, to Shepherd. Little grubber kick through. They scored from a kick before. Matty Singh. He's done this many a time before. Brought it back out of his own territory after comfortably covering the grubber kick through.
Yeah, Matt Singh now 34 years old, but a veteran of State of Origin, 271 NRL games, and he still looks very sharp.
Yeah, he's scored a lot of tries, Matty Singh, a lot, but he saved more. Just amazing technique he had of getting under players.
He's one of those players that you hear the crowd get excited whenever he has the ball, and just then you saw that Matt Singh of old when there was a bit of a gap there and he started to head for it. Here's a good run too by Tuakura and take it into the opposition's territory, but that's the 5th tackle. Now the pass going astray again, and they've got to do something with it, and it's ended up with Jade Williams and his high bombers comfortably taken by Shepherd. So Bird now. Bird with counter-attack. Can he get through? Up to the halfway. He's by himself. He's got no support, but what a run by Bird.
And the reason that happens, Jerry, is when you kick and hope, you're not set. No one's in a straight line. They cut him to pieces.
And they weren't set for the kick. No. There was nobody there. I'm sure Jade Williams got the shock of his life when he realised that he had the responsibility to come up with something really good for a 5th tackle play. And now a penalty going to Northern Pride.
Great chance here for the Pride now to score a try from here.
Fickling hurt.
They're going to tap and run straight away. There's Reeson. He settles one. No, he doesn't settle up there to Tom Humble. Cuts across, goes through, gets the body through, but just couldn't get his arm free.
Good job, Bowman, to stick with him.
Friso to work the dummy half. They come down the blind side to Reeson. He could score a try on his own, but punishing defence. Jermaine Colson bundled into touch. With good defence by Dallas Williams, but inept play. You know, he's given it to a winger who was standing stock still. Just driven into touch.
Well, he was driven into touch, but he did drop the ball behind. I'm not sure. Did it eventually go into touch?
I wouldn't say that the defensive structure has been all that impressive, but there have been some punishing hits. I'm grasping for positives here. There have been some punishing hits, and you know, the players are looking at the other because they know they're going to get hit hard, so they're at least putting that part of the game, the effort in.
Yeah, well, there's been some great cover defence by the Comets.
Stay square.
Especially in that left-hand corner defence. Absolutely, there has had to be. They've only allowed 1 try in. Of course, the bouncing ball had a lot to do with that. But the thing is, they haven't threatened themselves.
That's an easy one.
Riddled with penalties as well.
Yeah, well, you heard Michael Wise saying, oh, come on. I think that's the general feeling for everybody. Bowman's kick for touch.
Just
has been touched, but it had already gone into touch, though. Wow. This has been quite an extraordinary game. We've got 5 minutes to go before half-time. Let's see what can come of it. Tyron Haynes.
Definitely playing in the pack now, Haynes.
Inside the 40. Now, Straightening up there is Guy Williams. 33 out.
Played half a dozen games with the Broncos this year.
Vijay Marsh, Bowman, finding Hewitt. Hewitt can be a strong attacking player, but there was no way through that defence. So Marsh then sends it to the open, and this is Powell. It's the 20-metre mark. Third tackle. Have the Comets got something? Rothery with his experience. The little kick coming on the fourth tackle is comfortably covered, though, by Jermaine Paulson, and he's able to counter-attack.
We're up here.
And now the penalty allows Northern Pride to get the easy way out.
Well, what was happening with that kick? Alan Rothery kicking on the fourth tackle. He ran to the side of the field where they had less numbers, and I don't know that the centre out there, I think it was Jade Williams, even knew the kick was on.
And Jermaine Paulson had it well covered anyway.
Exactly.
And brought about then a penalty for a bit of a choking tackle. Can the Pride extend this continuous lead of 6-0, which they got from a fumbling, bumbling effort? I'd be one of the greatest advocates of the Queensland Cup. I'm always one to talk it up, but unfortunately we've had one of the worst halves in the Queensland Cup I can remember. It hurts me to say it. I'll tell you what, I'd love to see them come out and just turn it all around in the second half. Recent.
A very important couple of minutes going up. The Comets can't afford to concede a try.
I agree with that. This time Jason Roos, and they're in trouble, the Comets, because these guys can't attack if they get it. Clicked up there to Shy Bird, who likes to jump back up to Jensen. Jensen away, and in the corner. Oh, did he score it? Yes.
It's Griffin.
It's Rod Griffin, yeah. But I just wondered about that last pass too, Griffin. But it's been awarded, so the second try to Northern Pride, and Rod Griffin is the man who scored it. And here we see they used the ball, flung it across field quickly. Beautiful pass inside from Shepherd to Bird, and then he was able to flick it on to Rod Griffin. Great reach out by Griffin. Here we see it again as Shepherd was the one. He just, that's the pass that looked to me to be forward. The final pass from Bird on to Griffin.
So another look at it. Nice pass back on the inside to Shy Bird. Looked to be forward to me, but fair enough. Griffin gets it. There wouldn't have been much in it. It all happens at 100 mile an hour. He's going to a video referee. It can't award on a forward pass anyway, so the official's happy and Griffin happy. And they get their second try. If the Comets are going to fight back in the second half, they're going to have to lift their game immeasurably, and they'll be hoping they don't have to chase a 12-point deficit already. So this kick is important. 10 points behind. A couple of converted tries, and you're back in front. And Humble, a very good kicker. Preferred side, perfect conditions, hits it nicely and just missed it.
10-0 at half-time in favour of the Northern Pride. And it's been 40 minutes of, as we said, plenty of mistakes, plenty of frustration out there. The Comets have generally defended well, even though they've now allowed 2 tries in. But they've got to come up with a little bit more in attack than they produced in that first 40 minutes. And, of course, the Northern Pride, if they find something extra in the second half, look out Central. At half-time, it's Northern Pride 10, beating the Central Comets 0.
It's finals time on NRL on Fox. Melbourne captain Cameron Smith will talk us through the grand final rematch with Manly on Friday night. And Parramatta's new CEO, Paul Osborne, will tell us how Parramatta can...
Welcome back to Cougar Eye Oval. Second half about to get underway. 10-0 in favour of the Pride. Comets kicking off. Pride get the use of the ball, and the Pride have the sun behind them in this second half as Shepherd offloads the pass. And a fantastic break as well. And bursting into open territory is Rod Griffin, the try scorer, and makes it to the halfway mark. He scored the try just before the halftime break. Now here they go, the Pride, as Bowman with a lovely, the Humble rather, with a lovely dummy, and then he's going to open territory, he'll score! Tom Humble opens the second half with a spectacular individual run and a try to the Pride, and they go to a 14-0 lead.
What an incredible start to this second half. 2 busts, clean as you like. This is the second one. Humble, you just never give him a look, and he just comes straight out the other side. No fullback at home, because from the kickoff he hadn't even really been back to set him, so he probably made the tackle on Griffin, who made a bust prior to this. And this kid's a good player. Off to Parramatta next year. You don't give him the slightest glimpse. Have a look at this. Little dummy, straightens and goes straight through Bowman and on the inside of PJ Marsh. And, well, perfect start for the Northern Pride, but a horror start to this second half by the Comets. The coach's words would still surely have been ringing in their ears for the Comets, and they've allowed 2 clean busts in the first 2 tackles.
And his 19th try, of course, top try scorer of the competition. But Warren Boland has Scott Minto with him at the moment. He's the chief executive of the Central Comets.
Certainly do. Scott's here. Wayne Barnett, I hope, was having a few strong words in the first half, Scott, because you couldn't have been too happy with that first half.
No, too much turnover of the ball, and the boys were just getting worked over in the heat, and it's just taking its toll. You see there, probably just a bit of a lapse in defence there, and they've got to pick it up, or else we're going to be going home. Yeah,
try converted. It's the Northern Pride leading 16 points to 0. A couple of missed tackles here as Tom Humble made the break. Nat Bowman and on the outside, and PJ Marsh on the inside, a little slow to close it, but he's a very good player, Humble.
Oh, very, very good, mate. He's had a good year, and maybe he'll go on to bigger and better things, I think. So we just got to steady up here and get back into the game.
Yeah, you just mentioned that it is fairly warm and humid out there, but what are the players putting their ordinary performance in the first half down to? And it's both teams who are below their best.
Yeah, mate, obviously not enough commitment with the ball, and defence has been all right, but obviously you've got to keep the ball to win games as well. So we'll do our best in this half and hopefully come away with the result.
What do you put it down to? Are they nervous? Are they intimidated by the opposition? Are they just not concentrating?
No, I don't know about intimidated. We played the Seagulls last week, and they're probably a bit more intimidating size-wise and whatnot, but no, mate, they just didn't turn up at the right time, and they just need to get things into gear now, or else we're going to be going home, as I said.
Yeah. So in terms of turning it around, getting a bit of direction in the attack, is that up to Nat Bowman, or whose responsibility is that?
Yeah, we need guys like Nat Bowman and PJ Marsh to start steering the ship, or else we're going to run into some trouble.
If you're not going to stay still...
As you say, last week it must have been a very good performance to beat the Sunshine Coast, because they've been playing well. You must be surprised as much as anything by this lacklustre performance. I keep saying it's both teams who really didn't turn up in the first half. There's a kick on the first tackle here from the scrum. Will they get it back? It's still play on with the Comets.
And it's picked up by Tom Hewitt, and he'll score in the corner. Hewitt's in.
That'll do us.
There you go. Scotty Minnow says that'll do him.
Someone just got smashed without the footy.
Unbelievable.
Good on you, Scott. I'll let you go. Thanks for that.
Thanks, mate.
This game just lives up to the unbelievable. You've got to be desperate when the first tackle play from the scrum and you've got 44 minutes into the game. Grubber kick through, almost recovered. Couldn't be. Looks like Bowman's down. Crossfield picked up there by Hewitt, and he realised he had enough space to get into the corner. Enterprise, not much in the offside department there. And taken out one of the players.
Without the ball. That Bowman, I think it was.
In the vicinity of the ball. Let's have a look. That was the kick by Webster. It was well beforehand. Well beforehand.
It was great work as well to get that kick across field. And that was... Jade Williams, of course, was the man who has flicked that ball off his feet, and Tom Hewitt was there, able to pick up the loose ball and go over and score the try.
10 out of 10 for Enterprise by the Comets. They had to do something magical to get themselves out of the rut they've been in. And now they've got their first points on the board. It might be enough to change their attitude. 2 tries in 5 minutes of the second half.
Jared Parr with a conversion attempt. Flagged away. Still a long way for the Comets to go, but at least they're on the board. It's 16-4 in favour of Northern Pride.
Yeah, well, an ambush attack there from the Comets, and they needed points on the board, and they've got them after the Pride scored their first try of the second half. But they have hit back, and it's a bit of a scramble as Jade Williams puts the kick ahead there, and out wide Tom Hewitt has been able to gather it in and score the try. And I've got with me the Northern Pride coach Andrew Durnham. And Andrew, I just said to Scott Minto, neither team could be happy with that first half, but I guess we've already moved on 2 quick tries to start the second half. I don't know what to expect from this game anymore.
Yeah, who knows? We've just had a massive brain explosion then from one of our senior players. But anyway, yeah, that happens in footy, and we just need to get on with it now. We can't take that, and obviously need to bounce back pretty quickly.
In the first half, I didn't think the Pride were terribly impressive, but you did look more promising, and occasionally there were some flair and promise in attack.
Yeah, I wasn't too unhappy with it. Obviously it's difficult for the boys. It's a semi-final, and both teams are playing away from home, so it's not ideal. But I'm pretty happy with what we did in the first half.
Where do you need to pick up in the second half if you're going to maintain this lead and win this preliminary final?
Yeah, obviously our execution needs to be a lot better than what it is. We're dropping the ball on early plays, and I think both teams have been guilty of that. So yeah, hopefully we can play it a bit better.
Were you happy with the kicking game in the first half?
No, not really. Our last play options were pretty poor. He just knocked that out.
He stripped it. No, he's going to put water knock on, but I tell you, this was blatantly stripped.
Carl Johnson. It is going to be called back. It's been quite an incredible game of football so far. Well, tell us your view of what happened there. Strip.
Please, we don't have to be rocket scientists to work out what happened then.
But we were shaking our heads in the first half. We're hoping for a much better second half. You've got a grand final at stake. What's the players' attitude coming into the game?
Oh, they were very focused, and it's a big thing for these boys. Grand final will be massive next week, but we're 33 minutes away from it, and so are they. So, yeah, hopefully we'll start playing a bit better than what we have.
All right, we'll let you go. Some defending to be done here. Thanks, mate.
Andrew Dunham, the coach of Northern Pride, and they are indeed defending for their lives at the moment as the Comets are really attacking the line. They hardly saw inside the 20 in the first half, and in this half they've scored a try, and now they're just 1 metre short of it, where the ball will be played there by Jared Powell. Out now, turned nicely back inside for Haynes from Bowman. Rushing into dummy half, Ian Webster. Joining in the back line, Tom Hewitt, but he can't get through. That emergency defence that was required for the Pride answered the call.
Lost the ball.
And now the ball's been lost in the knock-on. So they've held them out again, the Pride.
Justice prevails in some way there. They were very unlucky not to get a penalty, the Pride, from the stripping of the ball earlier. So they've managed to keep their line intact on that set of 6. And they'll be keen to work it out of here without any problems. Not even kick early, just to put a bit of territory between them and their own try line. Albeit if they run it as easy as what they did in the first couple of minutes of the second half, they won't need to kick at all. They picked up 80 metres in 2 plays. And now the Pride. Drew Paulson pops it out the back. Jamie Frizzo gets a hold of it. Looks like the Comets at least are starting to rush up in defence, which was foreign to them in the first half. You've got to do that if you're going to try and put a side on the back foot. Burns, good player Greg Burns, 3 games for the Cowboys. In the middle there goes Reith Muller. Steady play here from the Pride. That's what was required. Albeit there was a few. This is handy too.
Get it out there. You put it in there.
Tuakura was getting involved with arms in and around the ball. And Shepherd will have no trouble finding touch. So great platform now for the Northern Pride to launch an attack.
After 8 minutes of the other semi-final, South Siligan leading 12-0 over the Sunshine Coast. And here's a good run. It's got into Rod Jensen. Heading for the line, Jensen is very close. He's only about 8 metres out. Look at the way he wants to get to his feet and play the ball and play on as it's managed to go across to Reeson. Chris Reeson, there's the try line. You can see it. Bruce there, a dummy half. And
no, you put your legs in the rough intentionally.
Another penalty.
They've got the penalty.
They want 2 points. They want to go for max, I would think.
At least the 3rd penalty in the game for putting their knees in around the ruck to delay the play the ball against the Comets.
They can bring the mark back. Tell me he's going to have a shot.
Yeah, that'll give them a 14-point barrier, so 2 converted tries plus 2. That was a great run by Rod Griffin to get them on the front foot before Jensen went close to scoring. Griffin's been very good today since coming on from the bench.
Yeah, I know. Direct all your questions through your captain. That's the way I want it. I don't need you gibbering me all game.
We need some first.
No gibbering, eh?
Just play footy.
What's wrong?
Just play football.
There's the Welsh accent of Webster. Sure, I agree with this decision. I appreciate it gives them the... here's the penalty. And Marsh in there. Looked like it was a clean play, the ball in the end anyway, although Marsh could have been penalised for possibly offside as well.
And Jared Pale, of course, one of the two captains in the Comets team, Nat Bowman and Jared Pale sharing the captaincy.
One thing you have to be careful when the man's playing the ball, if he steps forward, if he steps off the mark, then the marker gets caught on the side. Now, I'm not saying that's happening. I think that the Comets have been guilty more often than not of getting their knees and feet in the play the ball, trying to slow it down from the side.
And the penalty goal swayed. Oh, no. One up, one down. Which way is he going?
No goal.
Looked to us like it was no goal.
No goal, he's awarded. Well, I didn't agree with the decision even in the first instant. They really had the Comets on the rack there. You could have put them to the sword. Fairly simple kick. One up, one down. And the guy furthest on the line of the post thought it was over.
Well, I thought it was no goal, and I thought the touch judge who had the best view gave it a goal.
And, of course, what happens then is it goes back to the ref. He's required to make a call on that one, which he did do. At least the Pride regained possession. At least they put it dead.
I will say the touch judge had his hand over his eyes trying to protect it from the sun to make a judgment.
Reith Muller, now in the Pride, launch an attack again. Up there to Reeson. This kid runs the ball nicely. Roos to work the dummy half. Up there to Shepherd. Fades across. Pass up to Burns. He's put it on the deck. So the Pride are putting them out of their misery here, and the Comets are still alive.
And the further the game goes, the more desperate they'll become as well.
They can lift the Comets. They could easily score a couple of tries and really put some pressure back on the Pride. They're playing without pressure at the moment, the Pride. A whole new ball game if some pressure starts being brought to bear. Tommy Hewitt also played 5 games for St George Illawarra. This time now the Comets. Summers. They haven't... There's nice work from Summers. He's popped a few balls like that today. PJ Marsh throws the dummy. Eventually defence gets a hold. He wanted somebody close to him after the first dummy. He'd done his work with the first dummy and then didn't have anyone else to offload to. Lottery. 5th tackle. Marsh works down a blindside. Little tip over the top there by Webster. Wants to bounce but can't get it. Humble back nicely. Not the first time Tommy Humble's dropped back to cover a kick today. The Pride doing the tidy-up work reasonably well. Webster's kick was, at least it found the ground, but he didn't really get enough space to allow his side to get a hold of it. Recent thump to the ground. Josh Vaughan, the big winger, picks up 10 metres. 4th tackle. The Pride wouldn't want to put this... Reith Muller.
As Carl Johnson came up with that hit on Reith Muller. He's
hit a few today, Carl Johnson.
Doesn't he?
He's an assassin. This got up a little bit. It did clip the back of the neck as he went over the top, but it was a huge hit.
It was okay in the end, so the Pride would want to be careful. They don't just think they've got this game won.
I don't think anyone will be running at Carl Johnson again. It's a play to the right-hand side, Pride.
Matty Singh down too.
Let's go.
The ref's not going to stop play. He's got a crook ankle.
Point, in we go.
The ref's going to insist we play on. Webster up there to Nat Bowman. Second man play out to Hewitt. Hewitt tries to get on the outside. Does of Haynes. Frizzo it was. Working down the middle. Comets. Linked too many passes together. Hasn't been any rush of teamwork by the Comets. Gerard Pale. They don't have to look pretty though to score a try. But the prettiness can set it up for you. Bowman dances around, beats 1, 2. Just keeps it alive. Summers up here to Webster. Nothing happening. Pass up then. This time to Haynes. Flicks it out the back to Webster. Grabs it nicely. And backing toward the try line. Pretty hard to score when you're in reverse. PJ Marsh, very close he did. Up this time to the pass out there through Rothery, out to Hewitt. They've got extras, but get on the outside. Turns it back on the inside then. It's stepping effort, flicked out the back to Rothery, straightens and just short. Just short, the big man. At the back to Bowman, out to PJ Marsh. Got a gap on the inside. Plenty of defence coming across here. Be a miracle if they could score from here. There was a swarm of Pride coming across in cover. They really needed, I thought, to turn it back on the inside. Put it wrong-footed about 6. I think there's a bit of spark gone out of the Pride as well. They need to lift their game, the Pride.
Yeah, there's plenty of enthusiasm in the Comets play. Their defence is tremendous.
The Comet, sorry, Jerry. The Comets so close there. Webster close, Rothery close, but they couldn't break the Pride's defence.
So there's still plenty of football left in this game, even though it's a 12-point margin in favour of Northern. As they cart it forward, that's their 5th tackle. And it's a while since they've been down in the Comets territory. So this kick important. Chris Shepherd's kick, awkward bounce here, but comfortably taken in the end by Matt Singh. I think he's struggling with that right ankle, Matty Singh. He was back there when they were on attack and he put in the little kick. I just wonder whether he can actually stretch out taking the ball forward. This is Jade Williams now. Summers going in to be a dummy half. You just sort of look and think as Esdale takes the ball forward, with the Comets are starting to look weary now. Rothery in a dummy half. Summers again. Can he make it to the halfway? They're walking. They're standing still, the Comets.
PJ Marsh finally gets the dummy half. He missed 2 of the play the balls. Webster now playing halfback.
Looking for the 40-20, but nicely taken back there by Josh Vaughan. And driven backwards, Ian Webster. So when they're in attack, the Comets, they were looking weary, but in defence, they looked full of enthusiasm.
They've got some intensity.
Hasn't Reith Ballard played well as he plays it about 8 short of the halfway. Dart from dummy half by Chris Reeson, but well met again. That's better. Tyron Haynes right around the legs and pushing further forward, and Guy Williams helping him out. Shepherd now elects to just run it. But look at the defensive line there. Big welcome to Ben Leahy as he makes it to the halfway mark. Shepherd keeps it going again. Humble. And linking up there with Bird. But he's shut down. And they're inside the 40, but that's the 5th tackle. So they want a good 5th tackle play. Shepherd with a high bomb. That's really high. This is applying pressure. They follow it through. Loose ball. Which way will it bounce? Good work by Hewitt. Can he get into the field of play? No, he can't. And so the goal line dropout. We'll see the Pride get the ball back.
Yeah, it's the hardest take of all when you've had to turn your back and follow the ball coming over your head. Hewitt did well to regather and then best to get out, but he wasn't going to once Jensen got a good hold of him.
Tremendous height in that bomb from Chris Shepherd, and he has worried the fullback on a couple of occasions today.
When you get height, the other thing is you get incredible bounce when the ball does hit the ground. So it gives you a couple of options to really apply pressure. Ben Leahy up the middle for the Pride, 30 metres out. Now they've got a platform. What can they do with it? Reith Muller racing across to the right. He wants to be involved. That's him taking it forward now, but by himself makes it to the 20. Trying the short side this time now, Tom Humble, and going straight through is Chris Shepherd. And no, it's Bird rather, Shy Bird. And he scored the try, and that might nearly be the ball game. Bird scoring for the Northern Pride, and they're out to a 20-4 lead.
Yeah, the inside pass has troubled the Comets on a couple of occasions today. This one, nice ball this time from Tommy Humble. Back on the inside to Shy Bird, who's also had a very good game. He's lurked up, followed Tom Humble, as you would do. Every time he's run the ball, he's a good kid. That's not an easy pass to be running left to right and turn it back across your body and not throw it forward. Look how he twists his whole upper body back around. And then Shy Bird, as we say, has had a good game.
He ran a tremendous gap run there, didn't he? You could see it was there. All he wanted was the inside pass, and he knew he was a big chance of getting across.
Well, that's going to make it very difficult now for the Comets as the Pride get that try they were after. Came from the high bomb that couldn't be handled. And then the goal line dropout gave them the platform. The Comets now really have to play above themselves or play above where they've played today, especially in attack. They've lacked real enterprise in attack, especially from a team perspective. Very little passing in their movements.
Well worked try. Decoy forward just comes in at the angle, pulled a couple of forwards back into the ruck, and then the inside pass from Humble sent Bird straight into the space that had been created. And you can see Andrew Duneman behind the post there, fist in the air, celebrating what will go a long way towards winning this preliminary final.
Time it.
Pressure well and truly on the Comets now. And that shows just how much pressure they're under.
He took the ball.
It didn't go to 10 metres, and they get the penalty. Because
Jerry.
Jamie Frizzo didn't know the rules.
As soon as an attacking player comes in and takes that ball inside the 10, you've prevented it. Any slight chance it could have bounced forward. So
what a let off for the Comets.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable. As soon as it's going to land here, it means it's a penalty against the Comets.
Just leave it be.
Yep. Rizzo was shocked.
Somebody's gone and whispered in his ear about the rule book. And now the Comets with Carl Johnson. Here he goes, the big man. Can he straighten up and get through? No, but he'll certainly go as far as he possibly can. Less than 10 metres from the try line. PJ Marsh. Oh, interesting little kick from Marsh, but it's comfortably cleaned up there by Tom Humble.
But really, Jerry, second tackle, and it wasn't a deliberate kick. To me, it almost was a second thought off the left foot as well. There's no build-up here.
There was nobody coming through.
They scored their first try in the first minute of the second half, or fourth minute of the second half, with a kick from the scrum, which was a shock tactic. And there's another one that didn't come off. Shock tactics only normally work once.
And the Comets need to score tries. It's not a case of getting up there, getting territory and so forth. Just Vic Esdale crunched.
Be careful you don't put in any high shots at this stage. You don't want to miss a grand final because of a lazy effort in defence.
And also you don't want to be being injured the week before the grand final. Aaron Summers staying on his feet despite all the efforts of Alex Starmer, his opposite number, but he managed to get the pass away. Could be a try to the Comets here. They're really close. He can't get it down. Oh, ever so close there for Mark Fickling. And now loose pass. Is there a chance out wide? Williams. Jade Williams is shut down. This has been good work in defence by the Pride. PJ Marsh. Webster kept on going. On there to Carl Johnson, but he's put it down.
Tried to offload. He hit the line strongly off a pass from Bowman, but then he endeavoured to turn the body and offload, lost it.
That was one of those 50-50 decisions a playmaker made. He went for Johnson. Bowman passed to Johnson, but he could have hit Williams out the back, who had room to move and probably would have scored.
Yeah, been close a few times, the Comets. Brought down short, about a metre short, at least 3 or 4 times in the second half, which it's the metre that counts, of course. Josh Vaughan.
Well, the standard of the game has picked up in the second half.
Yes, yeah, a lot better. The Comets have lifted intensity, but their execution has been lacking. At least they've had a go mentally in this second half to try and put a bit of pressure back on the Pride. The Pride showing their class. High ball here from Shepherd.
Out on the full.
Is it going to float out? Well and truly out. Well, he blocks his copybook to a certain extent, Chris Shepherd. Won't matter today, you wouldn't think, but right next week, you've got to make every kick count.
That's another aspect of that high bomb here. That one, of course, he angled across. The previous one, he just put it straight down the middle, and that's what he needed there, because the Comets, in looking up at that ball, are looking directly into the sun.
One of those few fields that run east-west here, and the Comets are running west at the moment.
The Comets had 2 things going for them there. The sun went behind a cloud, and Shepherd put it on an angle.
It's the only 2 things they've had going for them all day.
Tyron Haynes takes it 15 metres into the Pride's territory. PJ Marsh a dummy half. The Comets have got to try and find something quickly. No way through for Alan Rothery. Experienced Comets man. They're inside the 40 though. And they just weren't ready for that. In the end, Ian Webster thought, who, me? You want me to take it forward? Carl Johnson is able to flick it alive. Back to PJ Marsh. Knocked down there by the Pride. And it's 6 to go.
Very lucky.
He was hanging the ball out there and got knocked out of his hands and ultimately got to Carl Johnson. A bit more luck for them. Can they turn it into points?
Summers is only about 12 metres out as he plays it now. They've got to just finish this game, putting every little bit of effort they can into it, the Comets. Esdale inside the 10. Marsh for the line, got the pass away to Williams. He's over, but can he get it down?
He's got it.
He's got it. Try to Guy Williams. And so the Comets are in again. Maybe the game's not over yet. 20 points to 8, and we've still got, 14 minutes to go in the game.
Nice little work here from PJ Marsh out of the dummy half. And Guy Williams, who's played 5 games for the Broncos this year, punches onto the ball, busts through the defence and reaches out to score. Well done. There's plenty of defenders there, but the aim is to just go between. Shepherd not strong enough to hold him. He just had Shepherd coming on a bit of an angle and he kept the legs driving and reaches out nicely. Well, the Comets get their second try and hope springs eternal.
And Bowman didn't muck around with the conversion. They're back within 10 points. There's 13 minutes to go. PJ Marsh draws a couple of defenders. Williams is a big lump, and Shepherd couldn't get his body in front of him. The forwards came to try and help out, but they arrived too late. Good try to Guy Williams. The Comets still alive. They've got a lot of work to do and time running out. But within 2 converted tries now.
Yes, and 66 minutes gone, so 13 and a half minutes to go.
Tom Humble would be regretting that missed penalty goal from a little while back.
Tell you what, if the Comets can get the next try and get within 4, this game will come alive.
And the sooner they do it, the more likely that is. Here's Rothery. Across his own 20, almost to the 30. Jade Williams. Well, he's gone out onto the left, Williams. Instead, Summers, who's done a tremendous number of hit-ups today. Ball 15 from halfway. PJ Marsh has the runner, and that was Haynes. Ball just short of halfway.
Starting to work that dummy half now, PJ. There he is again, and as forwards tire, he'll be very effective.
Duneman looking as if he's got a concerned look, as opposed to the punching the air a little while ago. That kick through. Bird comfortably taking it, but good chase as well. And Webster coming up with the tackle.
It's time we've gone to Andrew Duneman today. He's been talking into that microphone of his. A lot of coaches sit there and watch these days, or some do. But Duneman doesn't mind to do a bit of barking. And you need to do a bit of barking to make sure these guys go on with the job, the Pride.
Move 9!
Work it out of there.
How do you relay a bark?
you got to dogs can understand it.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I've even heard coaches really barking out orders, but of course they're just sending it to an intermediary who's then got to go out and tell it to the player.
You've got to interpret it. You've got to put the right expressions in, the exclamation marks and the beeps.
Well and truly.
Well, no beeps. Sometimes you add a few.
So the Comets find themselves back in their own territory again. Not a bad kick down there.
Well, the big men have really got to lift themselves now. A few are getting tired out there, but on this heavy ground and in warm, humid conditions, they just have to believe in themselves. 12 minutes to go to a grand final.
They're in disarray, the Comets. They've lost their halfback in Mark Fickling earlier in the game, and Webster's been called on to play in the halves, and some direction. I reckon he could do better to bring Bowman in to play at half. Let him be first receiver and let him call every shot.
Yeah, they've been just standing around. We've seen this before in attack where you sort of think, unless they're in the opposition's territory, they've got no energy whatsoever. PJ Marsh caught just short of the halfway.
Backing kick maybe, a little chip over the top. Maybe a big kick from there.
He's gone from inside the 40, but nowhere near the touchline. And Shy Bird, no concerns for him at all. There's the welcoming committee, though. Caught on his 20.
That's where you want an attack kick, but to do it, you've got to be up in the line and be going forward. Instead, they threw it well back to Bowman, who could only kick deep, and you don't want to give possession back to your opposition when you're 10 points down that easily. Osborne finally up to play it. Stepping effort there.
Get back!
Bring it forward. Paulson. Fourth tackle, so the Pride, again, not taking too many chances.
10 points the difference, 10 minutes to go.
Humble again. Gee, you can't take your eye off this kid. A good game again, Tommy Humble. Up to Shepherd. They're a good foil, those two. They decide to run it on this last tackle. Rod Jensen. Jensen looks on the inside, pops on back on the inside this time. Up there to Josh Vaughan. Finally got into a bit of space, kicks it as well. Good chance for them. Carl Johnson there. Oh, just got his toe in front of the reaching hand of Shepherd.
How about some of the offloading there? Nick's going back to Nick Sliney. Fantastic work by Rod Jensen when he flicked it back, and then Shepherd getting close to getting his hands on that ball, but not quite getting to it. And of course, had the Northern Pride have scored then, once again we would have been saying that's the ball game. But
they go for a short kick-off. They've gone high, but too deep.
I was going to say it might hit the ground, but a dozen Bird timed his run magnificently. And they'll take the first tackle only 20 metres out. Bruce on this left-hand side now. Alex Dahmer takes the tackle, but that's the 10-metre line. Here come the Pride. Can they finish it off? Through the hands on to Bird. Nobody outside him, though. Rizzo's the dummy half. Rizzo on that short side. There's nobody much there. Humble's left it behind. Not pleased. This is Frizzo, Jamie Frizzo, and that's the try line you can see. They're ever so close here. Can they get a place in the grand final? Almost over. Still 2 metres short. It's big Ben Lady, I think, stopped just short of the line.
Once again, it was Chris Shepherd running it on the sixth tackle. He got the result from the good play and the grubber kick through earlier to force a goal line drop out, but he was prepared to run this one.
And a try-saving tackle by Liam Anlazak there right on his own line.
He lost that ball too, and the play the ball just regathered. Nice little pop pass there as well by Jade Williams. Keeps it alive. Now the Comets, who haven't looked like scoring a long-distance try, that's what they desperately need. And maybe the little short chip kick might be the one. Trybird well positioned. He's about 20 metres behind the line. Bowman fires up here to Carl Johnson. He can often offload, but not this time. Good wrapping tackle over the top. Make sure he goes to ground. And the big fella in Starmer, working down a blind side. He's on his own. This guy can offload.
And he did. Straight to an opposition player, the next lining.
Oh, that was bad luck there. Williams made the break. He looked for Tyrone Haynes and couldn't quite pop the pass up.
Oh, knocked on. The Pride thinking that was their chance instead. Chance now on this. Stay away from touchstone. Tommy Hewitt, what are you doing, son? Did that go forward?
He tried to pass over the top to his men inside, but all that happened was it was knocked down and regathered by Vaughan.
Just a brain explosion there. He stopped in his run, trying to stay away from the penalty.
I think both teams are feeling the effects of 73 minutes of footy here. Penalty going to the Northern Pride, but the poor old Comets, I think David was suggesting maybe a little chip kick and chase, but it's a case of has anybody got any petrol in the tank?
Yeah. Another penalty for talking back. They're going to go for break this time.
They could go for goal here, surely. Yeah, use up the clock and get 2 points.
Sorry, mate. I'll try and finish him off, but it'll only get him to 12 points. So it doesn't, apart from the burn-up of time, Jerry, you're right, it doesn't really save them from...
Well, it doesn't win them the game,
no.
but it makes it more difficult for the Comets.
Gee, anything could have come of that if Williams had been able to find Haynes when he made that break. Haynes would have given them a run for their money from around halfway. Instead,
guys, you're all offside there.
The referee has blown time off now because of the wasting time by the Pride. Tommy Humble's had a practice on this shot earlier, and he pushed it over just to the right-hand side of the left-hand upright, or as the touchies look at it.
A whole lot of the Comets players were too close to where this kick is being taken. The referee is having a lot of trouble mustering them back behind or close to their line. I think the Comets just about done their dash. Frustration.
Only 2 from 5, but now 3 from 6 for Tom Humble. He's put it through. And now, with that 22-10 lead, 12 points the difference and only 5 minutes left in the match, it looks like the Northern Pride are going to be playing in the grand final next week. As they come back to the halfway.
Well, I'm sure if it is the Northern Pride who go through to next week, that they've got a much better performance in them in a grand final than we've seen today.
Andrew Duneman as the Comets go for the short kick-off, but nicely taken by Jamie Frizzo. Well done indeed. And now, if they can just control the territory, the Northern Pride, finish this set of 6 well, and they'll be that little bit closer again to that grand final spot. Ben Leahy inside the 40. Options left and right here, going for Starmer. Big Alex Starmer got up a nice head of pace to hit the defensive line. Guy Williams, one of the defenders that he hit. As Warren said, that was a terrific bust that he made. But unfortunately for the Comets, he wasn't able to finish it off. So 5th tackle play now. Shepherd decides to get it on to Humble. Nice little grubber by Humble, but comfortably covered by Hewitt. Can he counter-attack? No, he's shut down. Less than 4 minutes. And a whole 90 metres to go for the Comets. And that's to score once. Then they've got to turn around and do it again.
Yeah,
and convert them. And kick a field goal. Can you do all that in 3.5 minutes? I don't think so.
It's a miracle.
Well, they've just got to get the first 12, Jerry, and I don't think that's going to happen. Then we can go to extra time.
True. And they've lost the ball. So the Northern Pride will have another chance to score some points. And they realise now,
You're going to go
patting each other on the back.
Okay? You're going to get yourself cleaned up.
Blood bin there. So, Liam Anlasar getting some attention.
Seconds bind in.
So here we go.
Bind
Northern
in,
Pride.
Central. No, that's
Put a
not
little
good
bit of
enough.
icing
Four
on the
at back.
cake. 22 points
There we
to
go.
10.
Get your head in. Go, point to point. Go. Out.
Electing to go straight for Jensen. Rod Jensen by himself. Oh, almost away. Tyron Haynes coming over the top. Nice quick play the ball. He goes Bird. Shay Bird straightening up. Just 4 or 5 metres short of the line. Jason Roos in the centre of the field. He can go to the left or he can go to the right. And he goes to Humble. And coming up with it is Alan Rothery.
Tried the no-look pass and didn't come off. Humble, who's had a good game, didn't find the mark on that occasion. I think this is the miracle that the Comets now need. Big Carl Johnson, a bit hard to handle, and has been able to offload on a number of occasions. To Akira, the middle. If you need it more, that's what you need. A little pop out the back, out there to Matty Singh. Put a pressure on, was that Parle? I think it was Jade Williams. Now the Comets. Seconds, little Webster tries that chip over the top. Nice kick it was too. Tries the second kick, but there was no one there to be on the spot for that second one. And the Pride with only... Well, he's lost it. Play on. Tell me that's a penalty.
Offside.
Yes, it is.
Offside. You stripped it. Yeah, you stripped it one-on-one, and then your mate needed it back intentionally.
If he stripped it, it's then gone forward anyway. So if the offside, let's have a look at it. Well, he didn't strip it for mine. He was losing it. So the Pride will take the benefit of this penalty.
Hurry up, Adam!
And he's found touch, Chris Shepherd. Just short of the halfway. Northern Pride now into the final minute. They'll be playing in the grand final of the Queensland Cup next week. Can they win a Queensland Cup and take it back to North Queensland? Mark Cantoni slowly to play the ball. Alex Starmer into the Comets territory they go, and again a penalty.
course, last year the Northern Pride
11,
lost in the preliminary final to the eventual Premier South Logan. They can get the chance to go one better now.
11 gone for good.
Alan Rothery's has been sent off. Alan Rothery sent off. Dear, oh dear.
He's been having a running battle with the referee.
Nah, come here.
Let's have a listen.
If you settle down, I'll explain what I did. I sent him off for his foul language directed straight at me. He was talking to me. Yes, absolutely. If he swears at me, he's gone.
Been a few players that have been voicing very poorly to referees in the Queensland Cup, and they've had enough, and I don't blame them. There's no point and no allowance for swearing at referees.
Shepherd just wants to end the game.
And that's ended the game. So full time here at Cougarai Oval, and Northern Pride are into the grand final after a 12-point victory over the Central Comets. The Pride 22, the Comets 10. And both teams exhausted. A strange old game. It seemed that nerves and frustration played a major part in the first 40 minutes. There wasn't much between them at half-time, but in the second half, the Pride have been able to go on and win, even though the Comets have kept coming back at them. They just couldn't come back enough. The Pride too good in the end, and they'll get to play for the Queensland Cup next week. So 22-10, Northern Pride are in their first ever Queensland Cup Grand Final.